You're an incredible man and coach. It was a privilege to play for you. You're a true NFL legend and pioneer for all the work you have done to make the league more diverse and inclusive. Smart, tough, and loyal are a few of the words to describe your style. I will always remember the conversations we had when you recruited me 2 years ago, and all of the things we discussed came true. Arians, perhaps very much on brand, responded with, quote, "Thanks, brother," and a glass of scotch emoji. So that felt very much in keeping with his reputation, at least. So, Diana, you have been working the phones since this story broke. You've spoken to many of the principals. What are you hearing?
Yeah, I'll start with Bruce Arians. Coach, he feels really comfortable with this decision. He feels like he went out his way. And that was important for him, to do it the way he wanted to do it. The timing, it's interesting, right? Because here we are. It's almost April. We've had the combine already. We're a few weeks out from the draft. And there's a thought that perhaps that, Coach wanted to wait to see what Tom Brady was going to do, what they were going to do at the quarterback position before he made his decision. And then obviously Tom Brady coming back really changed everything. Instead of putting ownership and the entire organization in a bad position where they would lose, let's say, Tom Brady when he did retire, and their head coach, that would have been really tough to recover from. So here we are now. Bruce deciding to go in the front office here now to just basically being a consultant here and hand the reins over to Todd Bowles. And I spoke to Todd Bowles just about 30 minutes ago about this new challenge for him. And he said that Bruce called him on Monday and gave him the news. And he said, "I was shocked. And all of this was really bittersweet." He said, people don't really understand how much Bruce Arians does day to day. And he's like, I have a really long friendship with him. So for me, it really took some time for it to sink in. But now it's starting to sink in that he is the head coach of the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Yeah, so Bowles was his defensive coordinator in Arizona, then became the head coach of the Jets. So they have that long-standing relationship together. Let me get Tom Brady's longtime teammate in this conversation quickly. Tedy Bruschi, that is you, because people will look at this and they will, look, sometimes we put 2 and 2 together and we come up with a number other than 4. But some will wonder if Brady behind the scenes had some role in this. What is your sense of it?
My sense would be that Tom Brady didn't have anything to do with this. I just don't think Bruce Arians or Jason Light or anyone in the Tampa Bay Buccaneer organization would get pushed around by Tom Brady, quite truthfully. Now, Tom Brady did have to get used to how it was there in Tampa Bay, absolutely. I remember his blow-up in Chicago a couple years ago. I mean, this is a different sort of coaching style that he had to get used to with Bruce Arians, okay? I realize all the reports of, there were things where Tom didn't like how things were being done there, but the retirement was real, I believe. I don't think Tom Brady had any type of ultimatum to put on this organization to say, if Bruce Arians is out, I'm coming back. It just doesn't work that way with Tom. I don't believe it would be done that way. And Bruce Arians, I think the main thing I want to say is probably a congratulations to him on almost a 50-year coaching career where he won a Super Bowl, did so much in the league for diversity and inclusion like Brady was talking about, and he decides to step away, and now Todd Bowles steps in, and I think this is going to be a seamless transition to where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can still pick up where they left off.
Yes, among the elements of that, as far as inclusion is concerned, the first female assistant coach hired in the National Football League was Jen Welter in Arizona by Bruce Arians in 2015. So his credentials in that regard, among many others, are impeccable. Chris Long, what is your sense of this? Bruce Arians steps down yesterday.
Listen, I'm going to try not to focus on how long this has been in Tom's drafts, that Instagram message. Because I feel like he plans everything. I'm going to be less cynical. I'll go with everybody wins here. Man, it's like one of those things where obviously Tom wins. I think the sense was that Tom and Byron had the connection. I think the sense was that this is Tom's offense. Players are forced into retirement all the time by coaches. This is just a unique situation. Even if it were the case, I think Byron wins because he's not the coach of the Jaguars, watching them give Christian Kirk $18 million and the list goes on.
Yeah.
And then, Bruce wins. This is his legacy. This is what he's done since the beginning. He has looked out for his coaching staff, and he's echoed those sentiments of diversity and its importance. And Todd Bowles and him have been together not just since the league, but Temple. So this is a guy that gets a well-deserved second shot, and he gets it in a division where he coaches Tom Brady and the next best quarterback is Jameis Winston. Last time, he was coaching against Tom Brady. So I think everybody wins here.
That's an interesting way of looking at it. A little later in this hour, we will focus in on where Brady and the Bucs now stand in the NFC pecking order. But Mike Tannenbaum, let me come to you on all of this because you understand, I guess, better than anyone in the conversation, the inner workings of front offices and backroom dealing and all the rest of that. What is your sense of the timing in this and how it all came together?
Well, to Chris's point, the big winner in this is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and here's why. Everything they do is about, does this increase or decrease the chances of Tom Brady coming back next year? I worked for Coach Belichick twice. I've worked with Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles is very similar to Bill Belichick in how he holds players accountable, the environment he creates, and Teddy alluded to it. I think Tom will be much more comfortable in the environment that Todd Bowles creates, taking nothing away from what Bruce Arians accomplished, obviously winning a Super Bowl champion. But moving forward, I think this is a great move for them because when we get to March of next year, I think Tom's going to be a lot more comfortable being in this environment under Coach Bowles. And the other part, Greeny, is they still have some meaningful free agents. Jason Pierre-Paul, Ndamukong Suh. Todd Bowles is revered by players, especially on defense. If those two guys don't get what they want in the free agent market, I could see them coming back on a discount. So now you have Tom Brady attracting offensive players on one side of the ball and Todd Bowles attracting players on the other side of the ball. I think this puts them right up at the top of the NFC again.
Diana, how about the Brady of it all? I mean, you spoke to Arians last night and Bowles this morning. How about the Brady in all of this? It seems, to Chris's point, he had that Instagram post ready to go yesterday.
Maybe in the draft.
So this clearly did not take him by surprise.
No. His social media is pretty good. That team works hard. They're quick.
Yeah.
That being said, I think that the organization was taken back by this. I don't think they were ready for this. They weren't expecting it. At least that's what I can gather from talking to both the former head coach and now the current head coach. And I think in terms of the style, Todd Bowles really fits more the Patriot way than Bruce Arians ever did.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.